Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Ape Poncho, back at you again with another video. So if you guys was watching my video yesterday, then you'll know that I had to sadly report that a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old had been murdered, presumably by a 40-year-old man who was known to both of the children. And I did say yesterday, when I get an update regarding this situation, that I'd keep you guys updated, and there has been one. But if you haven't seen my original coverage, I'll leave that video linked down in the description. Feel free to go and check that video out before you continue with this one. So it's now being reported that the murder of the two toddlers and the injuries inflicted on the 40-year-old man were the result of a murder attempted suicide. Nithin Kumar was said to have spent the day carrying out his normal duties, attending to customers where he worked at the local CVS. He then left work as he normally would at 4 PM, and around an hour and a half later exploded into a rage of anger after allegedly getting into an argument with his wife over working during the COVID-19 outbreak, and then he murdered his two children before turning the knife on himself. His employer, Shammugatha Thevedarai, said he was a hard-working, honest person who had a shy disposition but was very polite and friendly with customers. He went on to say that he was shocked to hear police were called to Nithin's home, and said the pair would often drink coffee together behind the till, where Nithin would sometimes speak to his wife on the phone and ask how his children were. Regarding his day at work, he said yesterday he came in with the key and opened the shop early and then finished at 4 PM. He was working as normal. I couldn't see any change in his face. He left to go home and said he would open up early again for me the next day. He added, "I used to see him with his children sometimes. They were 3 and 1 years old. He would never really speak about his family or his home life at work. When my wife told me what happened, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. I went there straight away, and then there was police and ambulances everywhere. I told police he was my staff. He was a hard-working guy, and he was very shy, very polite, very friendly, and all my customers knew him. He never touched 1 penny from my till. I would see him playing with his children, or he would speak to his wife on the phone at work and ask how the children were," adding, "Sometimes he would ask to finish early to go and pick his children up. Yesterday, we put up the plastic protective screen at the till, and then I made a coffee for him. He had worked for me for 8 years, and I don't think he had depression. One of my friends introduced me to him when he lost his job at Tesco because he was on holiday in Sri Lanka." Neighbours have now told reporters how his wife had ran into the street screaming after the brutal attack. Reshna Begum, who lives across the road from the family, said that the mother was screaming as though she had been tortured. She went on to say, "I heard a woman screaming, 'Help me.' It sounded like she was being tortured. I knew something horrible must have happened. It went on for about 10 minutes. She then went on to say that she saw medics carrying out a little body in a bag outside, adding, "My heart just sank. It's devastating, horrific. From a mother's perspective, I'm still shaken from it. I can't imagine what she feels at the moment." At this current time, it's still believed that Nithin is in critical condition in hospital and is being guarded by police. Now, it's quite interesting how a man can go from being his normal self at work, and even his boss describing him as not being out of the ordinary, to less than 2 hours later after finishing his shift, going on to kill his children who are toddlers before turning the knife on himself. Now, as it stands right now, it is being reported that the man and his wife had argued about him going to work due to the outbreak. Obviously, they have children, so his wife is going to be naturally concerned that her children might end up with the virus, as you have multiple people walking in and out of his shop. But there must have been a more deep-rooted issue going on with himself. Now again, mental health affects anyone, no matter how old you are, who you are, what size you are, what race you are. It affects every human being on the planet. Like, look at this picture here. This was taken 6 months before the murders. He looks like a normal person who has a loving family and loves his family himself. On this day, maybe something in his head had switched, like it does with some people when they have mental health issues, and he just burst out into a rage. Instead of talking and keeping calm, he might have built up the anger inside of his head, where he's now gone on to commit this awful act. Because I just don't get how you can go from being normal 1 minute and then literally killing your 2 children the next minute. But what I do find interesting is right now it doesn't seem like the wife has been injured during this incident, so I'm wondering maybe if he was threatening his wife via his children, and then when things got heated had went on to kill them. But again, I can't imagine what this lady is going through right now, because realistically she's now lost her 2 children and her husband, because he will be going to prison for this once he's recovered from hospital. So again, I do want to send my condolences out to this lady and out to the people that have been affected by this situation, and I want to let them know that my thoughts are with them at this current time. And if there is any further updates regarding this situation, as always, I'll let you guys know. But let me know what you guys think of this in the comment section below. Give the video a little like, and if you want the latest drill, street and music news out of the UK, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. It's been your boy Ape Poncho, and I'm out.